I want to bring in now Chad Wolf, former acting DHS Secretary. Mr. Secretary, I don't know if you've seen the video and the pictures that we're seeing out of Del Rio with these Border Patrol agents on horseback, some of them with whips, trying to keep people from getting into the country. I'm wondering what your reaction is as you watch this unfold down there.
Well, thanks for having me on tonight. I think we need to be careful about any pictures that are coming out and drawing conclusions from those pictures. It's my understanding that those are not whips, those are reins. Obviously, the Border Patrol, we hire the Border Patrol to make sure that we keep illegal individuals and activity out of the country, that we push folks to legal ports of entry. And if folks continue to try to cross that border illegally, then they're gonna encounter Border Patrol in a variety of different ways. And particularly if folks are trying to evade Border Patrol and run away from Border Patrol, they have a mission to apprehend those individuals and make sure that they are brought into custody one way or another.
Secretary Mayorkas had hinted today that the agents are really trying to isolate the smugglers as well. These are people they know who are making more than one trip across the river and bringing people across, as opposed to migrants who were trying to get across. That might explain some of it as well. I don't need to tell you, Mr. Secretary, about optics and how important they are. And before you got to DHS in 2019, President Trump had the optics of the family separation policy. In fairness, conservatives are watching this, though, and saying if this were happening under Trump, Democrats would be losing their minds.
Oh, you're exactly right. I mean, as this crisis has unfolded for the past 8.5 months, there's a variety of things that, both Democrats and the mainstream media would be, as you said, losing their mind over if it was done under President Trump. Think about just that international bridge alone. At one point this weekend, they had about 14,000 folks there, 12 to 14,000 folks. That is more individuals and more migrants under that one bridge than we had in customs in 2019 along the entire border, along 2,000 of that border in CBP locations. Were just out of their minds about how terrible we were treating folks. And if you look at pictures from that bridge, it's night and day compared to what we were dealing with in 2019. The hypocrisy that I am seeing and hearing out of the left, the fact that there are very little Democrats that are actually visiting the border these days. Again, in 2019, they were down there, multiple trips, dozens and dozens of trips, because they saw a political advantage. They're not interested in telling the truth. They were interested in politics at the time. And unfortunately, this administration, by the policies that they have pursued since Inauguration Day, are putting politics over public safety in many instances.
Mr. Secretary, we're having a little bit of issue with your signal. I'm going to try one more before we let you go there. If you were back in the chair, what would you recommend we do to handle this?
Well, I think you have to institute MPP again, our migrant protection protocols. You have to have an effective border wall system. Our asylum cooperative agreements that were in place that the Biden administration tore down. I think all these things go to a network of policies that deter this illegal behavior. And you have to send the message, and you have to make sure that Mexico is doing their part as well.
Chad Wolf, former acting DHS Secretary, thank you for your time tonight.